Hi guys, this is Nathan Tusi with the Daily Review. We had some interesting things happening in the market today, and I think that I have some good ideas for you to think about as far as the forecast for the next few days. So hopefully this will be beneficial to you. You'll get something out of it, and it will help your trading be more profitable, which is of course the overall goal of the Daily Review. First of all, let's just look at the news and see what we have going on tomorrow. You can see that we have three red tagged events during the New York session for the US dollar. Two of these are retail events, and then one is the price per index. All three of these are talking about the price of goods and services and what the change has been over the past month. So those will have a pretty good impact on the market if there's a good deviation. Definitely having a big deviation on these would affect the US dollar strength across the board. And then later on, you see that the afternoon is kind of packed with New Zealand news. We have some red tagged events here, three in a row, and then again 9 o'clock we have another New Zealand. So that will be very effective. Most of these have to do with the Bank of New Zealand. You see RBNZ, that's Reserve Bank of New Zealand, and one is the cash rate, and then the other four are all bank things as far as statements. Here's monetary statement, and then the governor speaks. So definitely be looking to watch the New Zealand move tomorrow afternoon. It should be a pretty effective series of events because the U.S. dollar and New Zealand are both currencies that tend to move, and with both of them having news tomorrow, we could see a lot of volatility in the market from that. Okay, let's get to the charts and cover our major analysis. Starting, of course, on the Euro dollar daily chart. As I noted yesterday, we had a massive tail bouncing from the 38.2 level and coming all the way back down and closing below the close of Friday. Depending on what charting software you use, you might actually show a gap here instead of a tail. But either way, it's the same idea. The price did gap up around the 38.2 fib level and then get rejected pretty heavily all the way back down into the 125 level. Okay, so now we're hovering kind of around that level where price came down to. Today's bar, I would probably consider a stall bar. If that is the case, then this momentum will then go ahead and push through to the next daily bar. How a stall bar works is you have a push, and then price kind of sits for a second, gaining its breath, so to speak, and then you have another push that would get it back down to these lows or so. So if this is acting as a stall bar, we would expect the euro bearishness to continue. Euro actually was relatively bearish today, but the US dollar had a lot of weakness to it today for some reason, so we didn't see the follow through like we did on a few different euro pairs. But either way, nothing here based on what I see would alarm me to think that that price is reversing to the upside. Things still seem relatively bearish overall to me. Okay, the next thing I want to show you is the US yen, because we pointed out yesterday that after it broke this trend line, it didn't move much. We kind of broke the trend line here, and then it's just sitting here. So obviously, once you break a level that's as strong as this downward trend line, you expect something to happen with a little bit of momentum, but so far we haven't seen that. We've just had three daily bars in a row that have not moved in a lot of pips in a certain direction. And I don't know if that's just the market kind of waiting to shake people out because it's ready to continue to go up or down, and it doesn't want too many people on board for the move, or if there's just not a lot of volatility in US yen for some reason. I'm not sure what the deal is with the US yen at this moment, but it doesn't seem like it's a pair worth trading because you want to wait for this line to get tested or to see follow through to the upside or something to happen to give you confidence in a certain direction. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm just going to wait and wait till there's some definite direction in the market. I'm not ready to make any trades as far as the US yen is concerned because I don't see a definite direction forming there. Okay. Alright, so we will go ahead and look at the pound dollar then. The pound dollar is a little bit different story than the euro dollar because the pound had a little more strength to it today, and as I mentioned with the euro, or excuse me, with the dollar weakness, um, there was a lot of room for currency to move against the dollar. So unlike the euro, the pound actually took advantage of that and made a decent move up against the dollar, and now we're getting close to this level again. So this level obviously has provided some serious support and resistance in the past. We see that price did stop there last time it was on a move up. So once we get at that level, it will be interesting to see what price does. If it does break through on the second effort and perhaps breaks through and retests, then we might have a pretty good opportunity for a longer term trade in the direction of pound dollar long. But it doesn't seem like pound should be rallying that much, as there hasn't been any great fundamental positive things coming out for pound. But regardless of what fundamental stuff does come out, if it does break this level and continue upward showing pound momentum, then there's no reason that we shouldn't take advantage of a good trade opportunity. Just because there's no fundamental backing doesn't always mean that it's not a good trade opportunity. So it might be something that's worth taking advantage of there. Other than that, there's not really much to look at the pound dollar. I'm basically focused on this key level and just waiting to see what happens there. If anyone was long after the break of this level and is still holding that, make sure that you're watching this next level because price could turn around quickly or burst through. The AUD USD is an interesting pair right now. I actually just wrote an article about this and posted it just a few minutes ago on the site, so I will link to that below this video. But we're in this little bit of a chop here over the past 4 days. And it's interesting, as I noted in the article, once we had a bounce off this trend line here and had some momentum in the up direction, it looked like AUD would come all the way back up at least somewhere in here, if not up to 107 or 108, because it moved 300 pips in this 3-day range that you see here. But then it kind of topped out around here right at the 99 level, tailed up the other way, topped back down, and now we have a bullish bar today against the weak US dollar. But obviously, it hasn't reversed back to the downside towards this trend, and it hasn't broken up with a lot of authority, up to 107 or 108 or anything way up there. So the question is obviously what's going on, what is it going to do, and what to expect. What is the AUD going to do when it does make up its mind? And basically what I suggested in the article that I wrote is that the market right now with this little move is just being a market. It's trying to chop people out. It's trying to keep people out of getting in the right direction. So if it just reversed and went up one way and then reversed and went back down another way, it would just make trading too easy. So in my opinion, kind of what's going on here is this reverse might have got some of the shorts out, some of the longer term shorts. People who are looking at it longer term than that even might be adding shorts during this retracement, being longer term traders. And then the people who are jumping on long here, everyone who jumps on long on a bullish bar like this, the market is not going to let all of those traders win. It might spike up a little bit, get them to move their stops up tighter, and then stop them out. If they didn't stop them out here, it might have stopped them out here when it came all the way back down to here. What it does is it shakes as many people out of the market as it can, because with the Forex market, there has to be more losers than there are winners, because the winners are winning big. So in order to make up for all of the big winners, there has to be even more small losers. So the market is constantly shaking out tons of small losers. People refer to that as the dumb money. And that's why you don't see just definite directions. The market, a lot of times we draw charts like this, but the market does not work like this. This is not how the market works. Instead it works like this. It chops and it tests and it chops up and down, and then it does a quick reversal and then chop and then a move up and then a chop. This is what the market looks like. Okay, it doesn't give a definite direction all the time. If it always just gave a definite direction, it would be too easy to trade and everyone could win. Okay, so it has to play these games and take people out of the market in order to continue to maintain itself as a market. So basically what I said in the article was I don't have a definite, prediction as far as the odd dollar is concerned. I still think that it's carrying some bearish momentum to the downside, but I'm not going to predict that it's going to reverse and crash. What I will predict is that it will go in the direction that the least traders are going to make money on. Not the least money, but the least number of traders, because overall the market tends to reward the bigger traders, which also tends to be the minority of traders. So my assumption is that it will continue to chop as much as it needs to get people out. It might spike up to get some people on board long and then hurt those longs, and then go back up when there's less longs on board, or something similar on the way down where it'll reverse and get all the people who jumped on long on the power move out, but then go ahead and actually make up its mind to go long so that the short people are getting hurt. Either way, I think that it's going to do something to get people out of the market and to reward people as little as possible, because that's what the market does. So as far as my advice is concerned, it's not to go short or to go long, but to wait, not get caught up and be the dumb money, but wait and let it get people out of the market and then make up its mind, get going in a definite direction, and then jump on and be precise about your entry and get going when it's actually moving in a more definite direction. Like during this downtrend, get in on one of these bars where it's showing that there is good momentum. And then of course, even in these times, you're still going to get stopped out. You're still going to lose a lot of trades because the market is tricky, but you'll lose less trades and you'll be more profitable, and that is always the key as a trader. Okay, let's look at the USD CAD, because the USD CAD has been interesting as well. We had this rally up to the upside, kind of the same move down that the odd made up, but we had a good bounce off the 38.2 level, and this was a great bar, I thought. I didn't take a long here because of the previous tail, so it looked maybe like it's in a knife fight, and I don't want to get involved in the middle of the chop like I was just talking about before. But I did suspect it to follow through to the upside, at least somewhat, maybe come back up a little higher. But as you can see, we had a bearish bar today, and just a total continuation of the chop of the sideways market. So once again, since we didn't have follow through, that leaves me not having a definite direction and giving basically the same advice that I gave on the odd. Wait for it to make up its mind, wait for it to give you a definite direction, and then jump on board at a more precise, more definite direction, because you don't want to be on board when it's just hovering and doing this knife fight that it tends to do. Okay, so USD CAD I think will give us a definite direction pretty soon. I just don't think it's yet. I would wait on that. Alright, let's go ahead and look at New Zealand dollar, which is actually relatively bullish today, again because of that US dollar weakness. It helped any pair that could gain a little bit of strength rally. Now, of course, as I like to point out, the area that we're watching long term on New Zealand dollar is this area where it channeled very heavily in for a long time. So my prediction is that price is going to make it back up here, and so we've seen some continuation of that. All I would like to see now, as far as taking long is concerned, is it just to eclipse this area right here. That's not a very straight line, but if one more bar shows continuation here, up in this direction, then I would think that a long would be a pretty high probability entry. Pretty tight stop loss, maybe at the bottom of the bar, and then of course a target back into the middle of this channeling area. So New Zealand is looking good as far as kind of what we forecasted recently, and we're just waiting for maybe one more bar of daily continuation to go along on that. Okay. Okay. The Euro Odd and the Euro CAD are the two pairs that we talked about yesterday that look to be forming nice downtrends. These are the ones that have been bearish but had a retrace recently and then have been making lower lows since then. So here and then this little mini trend here. So that seems to be continuing. Anyone who's short on Euro Odd or Euro CAD, based on what we talked about, when it bounced off this level up here, should be in pretty good shape. Obviously, there's some chop, so it's taking patience. But I think that this is a pretty good bearish ride as far as Euro CAD, or excuse me, Euro Odd is concerned. And you'll see that it's basically the same thing with Euro CAD. Euro CAD's just a little longer term downtrend, as you can see. But basically the same idea. We're getting the lower lows that we look for in a nice trend, lower and lower, So that's good. That's consistent. Obviously, this next retrace we're looking for a lower low here. So I'm pretty confident in the Euro CAD and Euro Odd to be bearish. Obviously, if CAD gets incredibly weak or Euro gains a burst of strength, everything's out the window and we could see a break of the line. But things seem to be following into place for pretty consistent trend. All right, so that is Euro CAD. Getting those two confused. And then just the last thing that I want to look at is the pound New Zealand, of course, because I always like to look at the pound New Zealand last. And I'll point out, like we always do, that we had the rally, we had the topping, and we gained some momentum on the downside. And now what's left to see is if we're going to maintain the bearish momentum, if it's going to be a ride all the way down to the 187 area, or somewhere in that area where where it had a base before it broke up. Because to get down to that level, we still have about 1,250 more pips. So a lot of room left on the euro, or wow, pound New Zealand. Sorry guys, not with it. But there's a little tiny bit of a base here. Just a break here would be pretty good confidence that pound New Zealand is heading down. We saw the New Zealand strength today, but also had a little bit of pound strength. So if the New Zealand strength can continue to maintain itself and gain more strength, gain more momentum, this thing should just fall to the earth with no problem. And that's basically what I'm expecting. My forecast is for the price to at least get back down somewhere in this area. And I don't think that's a long shot for pound New Zealand. So again, I think that good shorts, precise entries are a great opportunity. Okay, that is about it for the daily review. Hope this was helpful, and I sure hope that it is going to be an asset to your trading. That's my goal. And if you have any questions or anything, leave a comment, leave a question. Thanks again for watching, and I will talk to you soon.